A compelling detective story, a cloak and dagger action, and a romantic drama, all these stories were taken from real life. The history of Kazakhstan is inseparable from the world history. Reflections on History, our version.
A fatal loss. His life often hung by a thread. There were assassinations and attempt to steal prepared. But Kenessary was lucky. Like bewitched on his steed, he threw himself into the thick of battle. Since he was a child, Kenessary differed with a very wayward personality. That's why, in general, he was named Kene. Kene translates as might. The heart of his accomplices fought endlessly to self-sacrifice devotion to their leader. Kenessary was a worthy ruler of his armed force. Spirit which inspired all of his gang could make any European commander of troops jealous. Yes, this man was an outstanding ruler, and there is no doubt that in any other circumstances he could have been an outstanding politician. Elusive, brave, dread, his enemies did not skimp on the compliments. His look was attributed to mysticism. There are legends composed, and one of them is about fatal loss, after which luck forever left the rebellious Khan. He never backed down, he took the fight, and he never was defeated in those battles. In our museum, there's a tumar which was found in Kenessary's cave. He often used to hide in this cave, and I don't know if this place was mystical or not. Chapter 1. At the beginning of the mystery. That night in a cave in the mountains, Kenessary Khan thought about his people's fate. Freeway noise and the bustle of resort weekdays remained somewhere behind the pine tree wall. Aulia calls South Beach. The hundreds of tourists beaten track the bottom of the mystery. The usual rock, which are dozens like in the local surroundings, would tell its secrets at first sight. And now we are at the top of the legendary rock, Kenessary Khan's cave. The platform is convenient for visibility, and the cave is calling into its cool embrace. Many times he bowed his head because the entrance was too low. Getting into the shelter was offered by nature itself. They used to set a fire here, and there's a hole in the top of this cave so the smoke could come out. When the weather is cool, it's warm in here, the heat lingers here, and when it's hot outside, it's always cool in this cave. For many years on the run, the first mention of the participation of Kenessary in the ranks of the rebel group refers to 1825. First, the movement was under the guidance of his father, then it was headed by his elder brother. They changed routes frequently. Kokan Khanat, Ulitau Trakt, Borabai, where every stone is known. Here was a Jailao, and this is where Kenessary Khan was born and spent his childhood. Wiping her feet on the path which has been trodden on through the centuries, Amina often came here too. She shared information with visitors so this story would not be erased in people's memory. She inherited the baton of memory. According to the legend, this place was used by Khan, not only as a shelter. Kenessary's cave was also an observation post, said Amina's granddaughter. You said that if we light a fire in this cave, it can be seen on the other side? Yes, it means if you can see the blazing fire in this cave on the other side of this lake. Secret fire signals let the wise people know the balance of power in this region. Rebels, military and secret services were organized perfectly. Kenessary attacked in time. As a leader, he could put fear in hearts. Why did the soldiers hide in those fortresses? Because this secret service worked. He knew the situation and he could not be caught. He often used tactics of a sudden and fast attack. Well, you know, in this unexpected situation, when the Tsar's troops were not expecting an attack, and when they were in such a state of calm, Kenessary's troops swooped in like a storm, and then quickly disappeared. The scouts told that there was another attack prepared on the steppe. Khan immediately hastened his native lands. After the Kenesary's inauguration, only 1 year passed. A lot has changed in that time, as well as the Kazakh Khanate and beyond. 1842, the new Governor General, the new policy, no negotiations, a fragile 2-year truce was violated. Perhaps the mysterious story of the fatal loss relates to that time, about the fact that the Khan did not come back. There are Russian officials. Reports have been preserved. There's a letter of the commander of the Orenburg Corps to the Governor General in front of me. Kasimov attacked the Orenburg line with the 5,000th troop. About the measures taken for sending troops to prosecute Kenessary Kasimov. Was Kenessary alone here or not? No, he was here with his brother. They were hiding from Sotnikov's troops. Punitive Sotnikov's detachments were sent to capture Kenessary. They attacked the Khan's villages, captured his wife, and led the people away and stole the cattle. When you climb to the top of the rock where Kenesary's cave is situated, you can see the stone and there are traces of soot on it as if there was something burning. Signals were set or the food was cooked. The area can be seen well from this point, so maybe it's where the rebellious Khan and his brother sat on guard, keenly looking about the neighborhood. Chapter 2. The Mysterious Amulet. Omsk Archive. Most reports associated with the name of Kenessary remained exactly in Omsk. In our archives, there are materials that even we archivists cannot say that they're studied. The same fund, the military camp, the office of the Siberian Corps. There is still no mention about the Khan's special amulet either, or this or in any other archive found, only the oral traditions. Sometimes we discover such findings so we understand that in these materials there are a lot from mysterious, unsolved, unread, and undiscovered. Kenessary finally looked like a wolf which has lost its brood. Besides, he felt with his wolf heart approaching the end. This says it all: refusal to have direct support from some tribal leaders and junior Jews. The number of villages carting away of the land which was subjected to him, frequent raids of punitive troops. Kenessary tried to ward off the heavy thoughts. He was not going to surrender to the mercy of fate. It began to turn away itself. Glancing at the local beauty, he was afraid to admit to himself that it is unlikely to see the legendary peaks of Sinigore again. Soon he left his homeland forever. Amina told the students this story in the summer of 1997. She talked about that with a loving and trembling tone. She gestured with her hands. When she was doing that, she was getting entirely lost in her story. And there was a moment when her ring flew off her finger. Carried away, she noticed the loss only at the foot of Kenesary's shelter. She came back without much hope. The cave is small only at the first sight. It is equal to 8 Khanate yurts and coated with the dust of centuries. She began to search. She said that she found something hard of the land. She pulled it out and looked. It was an amulet. She forgot about the ring immediately. She realized that the amulet, which might seem very simple but was not, freaked with ancient characters, the amulet could belong to Kenessary. The legends were mentioning that the rebellious Khan had a special talisman which was given to him by his mother. It brought him good luck in battles, protected from a violent death. Historians believe that in every legend there is often great truth. Maybe his mother gave this amulet to him. Since ancient times, it was believed that the loss of a talisman, which was backed by the strength and power of all kinds, cannot pass unnoticed. Chapter 3. The Talking Amulet. This stone will be able to speak when they decrypt the signs which came from the depths of thousands of years depicted on it. Wavy line, a water sign, a triangle, and a figure reminding a flag. Well, it is assumed that the square is a farmer, field, in the beginning of some organized space, a person doing business. Well, the triangle is the beginning of all beginnings. That's also a female symbol. One of the most ancient and mysterious symbols, the triangle, has been associated with the talisman's magic. Signs themselves are also located not by chance, of course, but more information is yet to learn. On the back of the amulet there is an arrow and a bow. Maybe this amulet was an amulet of a hunter, because it is known that Kenessary and his brother were hunters and very good shooters. Another version of the reading. On the amulet there are symbols of some Kazakh tribes embossed. It is more likely that this amulet was generic. And according to the legend again, there is a curse prevailed over the Kenessary's family. Allegedly, his father Kasim killed a sacred camel, which was considered a defender of Borubai, in whose honor that region was named. The bad luck is easy to believe. Kasim and his elder sons were killed in the prime of their lives, but Kenessary was lucky. Indeed, since he lost the amulet, Kenessary began to lose his positions and was forced to migrate at all on the peninsula, in Balkhash to Kamal. The tragic legend and reality, the curse struck the rebellious Kenessary forcefully. They put a 3,000 rubles reward on his head. The siege of Akhmichet had to be removed because of a cholera epidemic. A 2-year famine knocked down the population, which was tired of the constant wars. On the one hand, there was the disease, on the other, the general fatigue. And when the Kenessary was sick, there was a rumor that he had allegedly died. Kenessary made a vow when he was ill that if he gets better, he would have disbanded his army, and so he did. And when he recovered, he set all of his troops and supporters free. Many of them left the army and went back to their villages or to their lands. He gave 25 years to this fight. He lost many loved ones. He made a lot of bloody and unforgivable mistakes, but no one can call him a loser. Epilogue. The Motherland's Amulet. And his death and his life both are full of secrets in spite of the abundance of read and unknown documents. Examination of the amulet has not been carried out yet, but it is unlikely that the science will answer the question. Whether or not the loss of the talisman changed the fate of the last Khan. However, Kenessary cared about his fate very little. He mourned about the fate of his people, In the legend's thoughts, he is still somewhere nearby. Troubled spirit of Kenessary, as if he has become a talisman of the region himself.